Thank you all for joining us today and tomorrow. And I really hope that I think we have a bang up 2 days of conferences and on the theme of modern work, what it's like, and workers' voices. So without further ado, there's a disclaimer and we can proceed. I just want to thank all of the people who helped from the California Labor Lab who helped put this meeting together. Many of them you will hear from today or tomorrow separately. So it's important to recognize a path-breaking book that was published in 1972 by Studs Terkel, and many of us are long admirers of him. Studs Terkel's working centers workers' voices to understand the forces that were large, such as the growth of multinational firms of his day, and small, the experience with co-workers, foremen, and bosses, to gauge how workers felt about work. Rereading Working this year, I was struck by the sense that in that time of economic growth and high rates of unionization when he was writing, meaning could be extracted from work, even in jobs most of us would not choose to do. But in the next year, an era of high growth, massive organizing, and optimism took a hit with the oil shock of 1973, which brought about inflation and government retrenchment, attacks on labor, and led to erosion of working conditions with the threat of outsourcing within and beyond the US. Studs Terkel wrote in 1972, "Working is about violence, to the spirit as well as to the body. It's about ulcers as well as accidents, about shouting matches as well as fistfights, about nervous breakdowns as well as kicking the dog around. It is above all, or beneath all, about daily humiliations. To survive the day is triumph enough for the walking wounded among the great many of us." But the book ends, "I was constantly astonished by the extraordinary dreams of ordinary people. No matter how bewildering the times, no matter how dissembling the language, those we call ordinary are aware of a sense of personal worth, or more often the lack of it, in the work they do." So this conference is about an update on working. Again, we're in a current tight labor market, which may give workers leverage in the fight for higher, indeed living wages and better working conditions. We can't replicate Studs Terkel's brilliance in listening and summarizing what he heard from workers. But we put together a conference that again centers workers' voices as the best way to understand the experience and work in 2024, and using what we hear to try to make sense of what's going on and develop an agenda for fostering change. The conference format: workers' voices, including yours, will have the majority of the airtime in modern work and workers' voices. So make your voice heard through a vigorous chat dialogue and Q&A with the speakers, panel members, and yourselves. I've put a skeletal version of the agenda in a few slides, but you should know in chat we've put a detailed one. Most importantly, for many of us, there'll be breaks, and I've posted them there, and a 45-minute lunchtime. So we begin today with an introduction and welcome from the Acting Secretary of Labor, Julie Su, who many of us in California know. Then a keynote from the President, Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher of the California Labor Federation. Two of us involved with the California Work-In Survey will describe the California labor market. And then for the rest of the day, we'll focus on two key sectors in which workers' voices are being heard: higher education and healthcare. And here you see the pictures of the speakers for today. And in the second of the two panels on healthcare, here are the speakers. Tomorrow, we'll focus on low-wage labor first, Then we'll do a session on workplace health, how to get out of some of the dilemmas we're describing. That will be followed by a keynote from Dr. David Weil of Brandeis University, who's titled his talk, Choices and Options at This Critical Moment. And we will conclude with the policy sessions, putting workers' voices into action. And here again are some of the speakers from day 2. I also want to commend to your attention the ongoing webinar series of the California Labor Lab. Our next one is May 29th at 12 p.m. Pacific with our very own Christina Banks, the Director of Outreach, and at Berkeley, the Director of Interdisciplinary Center for Healthy Workplaces. Her title is Creating New Workspaces Using a Total Worker Health Approach. And that will be followed in June by Albert Zhu, giving a talk, Workplace Mistreatment, Evidence of Prevalence, Antecedents, Impacts, and Intervention.